Hello and welcome back to Aetheral Space 16.17. Choke on your name. Fireball!
Ah! I'm so
I
mad.
just died.
Okay, so I heard about this game first. I told Tanhoney and my friend Woe about it. And I haven't gotten to play it because I've been moving. Meanwhile, Tan had a big host game on ASRP, and Woe got my roommate and some other friends to play it. I'm the only one who hasn't played it yet, and I found it first. And I'm
Snooze,
mad.
you lose, I'm afraid.
Oh my god. Anyway, I moved. I'm still getting all my furniture set up, so I have my desk and my computer set up, but I don't have a chair, so I'm on the ground, like on a cardboard box that I smashed with my weight. But that's good enough to record. So we're here, we're back, and we're ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're ready. Morgan knocked, landed on the next floor down with a heavy thump. 2. Fuck you. Morgan groaned at himself, still lying on his side. Even getting up was risky at this point. It'd take at least another step to get back to his feet, and that was a step he couldn't afford to waste. Good thing he'd come prepared. P! Get up! It was an unsettling sensation using the puppet ability. It felt like you were locked inside your own body, watching helplessly as someone else moved you around. Morgan could see everything, feel everything as his body mechanically followed his command, but those sensations still felt strangely alien to him. As soon as puppet ended, leaving him upright, Morgan sucked in a deep breath, as if he'd just been freed from a noose. Face resolute, he looked up towards the hole in the ceiling. This wasn't over yet. Gretchen Hale. Aetheral was inside her body right now, messing with her, stopping her from fighting properly. He'd responded to his name, driving Gretchen into that frenzy. That was the only reason Morgan had survived so long with such an absurdly unfair handicap. That was going on. That had to be what was going on. Right? But this didn't seem familiar. Morgan had hosted Aetheral inside his body for a good length of time, and it hadn't been like this at all. They'd been able to communicate without words, sure, but Aetheral hadn't been able to mess with Morgan's mind or anything like that. Not like what was happening to Gretchen now. It had been a case of Aetheral interconnecting with Morgan's body, not his mind. Not really. Hell, his body had sprouted branches back then, when Aetheral had been getting into safety back on Elysian Fields. He hadn't seen anything like that from Gretchen yet. Was this something else then? Was he wrong? Was Aetheral really? No. Morgan tightened his grip on his fog sword, steeling himself. I assume Aetheral, fusion tooled with Gretchen in some way. Because that seems more on par than what he had going on with Morgan, but I guess we'll see. Morgan tightened his grip on his fog sword, steeling himself. He didn't have time for doubt right now. I don't know why, but for some reason I read doubt as Dubai for a second, and I willed myself
Morgan
to be like, that can't
based.
be right. He had a job to
Time
do.
for Dubai.
First, he had to deal with Gretchen Hale. No chocolate, no Labubu. Then he had to warn Muzazi that Ash and Mariloko were coming for him. Catching up to them wasn't an option, not with Black Timer at all. I assume Andal.
Yeah.
Come on down, Gretchen, Morgan thought, looking up into the darkness. I'll cut you open and drag my friend out of you. Gretchen Hale felt sick, but that was fine. She didn't have time to worry about it. Discomfort was a fact of life. She'd been a sickly sapling, a sickly kid. She'd found her fascination with armaments because of those days of illness. So even if her sap was foul, she wouldn't hesitate. She'd kill him. Morgan knocked. Morgan knocked. Morgan knocked! He'd done something to her. That had to be it. There was no other explanation. Psychic? He'd used that. Got inside her head, filled it full of stuff. It had to get rid of him. Ragnarok Forge! Spine of Granba! Gretchen Hale slowly rose off the ground as the armament manifested in a shower of orange wisdom, holding it aloft with its long and spindly arms. Whatever Morgan knocked had done to her mind, it was clearly having an impact on her body's equilibrium. The best way to move around now is with assistance like this. Her branches twitched, her fingers and the spine obeyed. Like a drunken spider, it maneuvered her through the hole in the floor she'd created, slamming its many arms into the woodwork to keep her steady as she went. Her legs flapped beneath her like they were broken. Her leaves hung low over her face. She couldn't see it, but the one green eye shone through the dark, an augur of her arrival. She was ready. Shotgun in its hands, it had a name. Ooh, wrong its, buddy. It didn't matter. It reloaded it. The sound was satisfying. Guns. They had never been its favorite weapons, and in the aesthetic sense, wrong its. But Gretchen Hale couldn't deny their efficacy. As it slowly lowered into view, Gretchen Hale pointed the gun directly at Morgan knocked. He was already on the other side of the room, weapons readied, having taken advantage of its slow descent. He'd moved a lot for someone under Black Timer. That was weird. That was so weird! Gretchen Hale opened its mouth to speak, but all that came out was a low groan. Wrong it's again, buddy. There you are, kill you and you, Morgan Noct. Don't need you anymore, don't need a toy Muzazi anymore, get rid of you, eyesore, get lost. Eyesore? Morgan Noct frowned. Aw, Ioneer, you're going to hurt my feelings, Gretchen Hale hissed. Not Ioneer. Then why are you speaking his language? Morgan Noct said seriously. Those noises you're making, those sounds, that's how the fell beasts communicate. You're talking with his words. Enough! Nonsense words provoking anger response, and Gretchen Hale, catharsis required for emotional stability. Saliva dripping down mouth, ignore, not sap. Ready arms have the blood spray. Ready fists have the bones crunch. Ready branches have the guts be pulled. It fired the weapon, no room for name or shape. Each shot blasting the room apart. Each shot accompanied by a swarm of pink shards that sliced the air apart afterwards. Gretchen Hale opened its mouth wide as it fired, intending to cackle, instead only shrieking. Its eyes bulged out of its sockets, its heart burned in its chest. Feel sick, feel sick, feel sick, feel sick. The sickness is him. Get rid, get rid! One shot. P! Roll to the left, dart under couch. Dodged. 2 shots. P! Leap upwards, kick off ceiling, land behind Gretchen. Dodged. Morgan Noct landed behind Gretchen Hale with a thump. No delusional heartbeat, no exploding organ. The enemy had found a countermeasure to the old man's technique. Morgan Noct's movements are mechanical but fluid. Mechanical? Yes. Mechanical. There are steps that can be taken. Ragnarok Forge! Silver Saint prototypes! It took a moment to think of their names, but Gretchen Hale's tin soldiers spilled out of her wisdom, arms outstretched at Morgan Noct's face as they oozed out of the air. More enemies, overwhelmed the human with numbers and watch him fall. It had worked before. Those who rebelled against the G-nobles knew this same pain. Now, Gretchen Hale laughed. Even. P slash. Uh-oh. As the prototypes are sliced apart mid-manifestation, warped and inhuman laughter echoed throughout the room. Metal clanged against the floor, weaker than wood, severed gauntlets and helmets like so much trash. Gretchen Hale whirled around, striking with all 16 arms, branches, but P! Flip over her and pull out the spine of Granba. With the ease of someone plucking a grape from the vine, Morgan Noct won. There was only the slightest sensation of discomfort as he pulled the base of the spine of Granba from Gretchen Hale's back, but the effect was immediate. The 16 artificial limbs it had been using immediately dissipated into wisdom, and Gretchen Hale fell hard to the floor. Before it could get up, before it could do anything more than writhe, it was rolled onto its back, wrong its, and a blade was raised directly over its heart, wrong its. Morgan Noct panted for breath, saber ready to come down and finish the fight, one knee on Gretchen Hale's stomach to keep her in place. His golden eyes stared down in it wide, recording every detail as if starving for them. Both green now, he breathed, looking into Gretchen Hale's eyes. Ioneer? A crackling hiss trickled from Gretchen Hale's mouth. Not Ioneer, Gretchen Hale! You know this! Morgan Noct, mouth open, says. Ioneer! Not Ioneer! Gretchen! Shut up! Morgan Noct, mouth noise. Ioneer. Shut up! Hurts! Morgan Noct. Ioneer. Ioneer! Said Morgan Noct one more time, tears in his eyes. That single word packed with all his grief, all his regret, all his desire for reunion. Beckoning him forth, and water is memory, and memory is water. But water is not the tree it feeds. A sharp pain struck. Morgan gasped, and as he did, he tasted blood in his mouth. He looked down, and he understood. He looked down, and he saw the twisted dagger Gretchen Hale was holding. Oh! The twisted dagger that she'd shoved right into his stomach. I just realized. Water's memory, memory's water. Water's not the tree it feeds. Ioneer wasn't fused with Gretchen. It was just his lingering aether was, like, with her. So it was like the facsimile of Ioneer, but it wasn't enough. That's what happened, isn't it?
Continue, perhaps we will discover more.
Oh, Gretchen said, her green eyes calm and sedate. Look at that. I guess I win. Ioneer! Oh, right. She raised an eyebrow. You thought I was your friend come back to life, didn't you? I'm afraid not. She twisted the knife, and Morgan screamed as it tore through his flesh. Taking advantage of his pain, Gretchen flipped the two of them over so that she was now the one on top, nearly straddling her opponent, while Morgan's back struck the floor hard. One. You've misunderstood the situation, I think. Gretchen said quietly, her breath tickling Morgan's nose as she leaned in. Aetheral Yggdrasil is dead. I killed it at that rooftop on Azumha. That's not up for debate. She was pushing back, but Morgan just had to say it again. Just had to call his friend again. Aetheral. It's not listening, Gretchen said flatly. Or rather, it isn't here to listen. The fell beast didn't infest my body. That's what you were hoping happened, isn't it? Liar, Morgan seethed through the pain. I'm not lying. You remember Aetheral Yggdrasil's wisdom ability, right? Absorption of memories, or more accurately, memory transference. Morgan's eyes widened. It looks like you're starting to understand. That's right. Aetheral Yggdrasil has been carrying the memories of its fallen race along with it. Once it understood it was dying, it knew it couldn't allow those memories to just disappear along with it. But the only suitable receptacle for those memories in the vicinity, Gretchen slowly tapped a finger against her chest, was yours truly. But all of that before, he was taking over. No, Gretchen shook her head. Those downloaded memories were dormant. I won't deny that you activated them, and there was some confusion with my sense of self. But that's over now. They've properly integrated. The knife slowly turned and slowly turned and slowly turned. Morgan screamed in pain as an agony threshold was crossed. Gretchen did not blink. It's just information, she said. It took a while to process, but that's basically it. P! Punch her in the head, roll to the side and stop in a kneeling position. Apply pressure to the wound. Gretchen saw the desperate maneuver coming. She jumped up and off Morgan to avoid the punch, landing a short distance away and staring him down as he rolled on the one knee, panting for breath. The knife dripped blood in her hand. The wound wept blood in Morgan's side. That's some puppeteering power, Gretchen observed, wiping the blood from the knife with her poncho. Knowing you, I bet it's actually P for puppet, isn't it? That'd be funny. Did you skip some letters to get there, or do you have options I don't know about? Morgan wheezed for breath, still clutching his burning wound. Would you like to know? He gasped. H-A! Pain nearly sent him down to the ground, expending his last step. F-A! But a makeshift limb of fog held him up, saving him. His face dripping with sweat, Morgan stared his enemy down while his wound slowly and painfully sealed itself shut. No, Gretchen murmured. You don't have options, do you? You don't have any options left at all. But I, she spread her arms wide, have nothing but Ragnarok Forge! This was the end. Morgan braced himself for it. He knew that Gretchen kept countless armaments of every shape and size recorded in that aether of hers. She'd have no shortage of tools that could put down a wounded enemy from a distance. With this wound and this handicap and this rotten day, there was nothing else Morgan Noct could do. This was the end. This was the end. Morgan closed his eyes, and nothing happened. He opened them again. Nothing had changed. Gretchen Hale was still standing there. Her arms were still spread wide, as if the moment had been put on pause, save for one essential difference. The look on her face reflected none of the quiet confidence she'd exuded just a moment before. Now it held nothing but uncomprehending shock. Ragnarok Forge! She repeated, her voice hoarse. Nothing happened. Ragnarok Forge! Ragnarok Forge! I have a theory for this. Can I say it before we keep reading?
Sure.
So, notice how she said she integrated the information, but she's in control, but she's still called Aether Wisdom, and she still looks different. I think the memories have sufficiently changed her personality enough that she's no longer Gretchen Hale, so her Aether doesn't work. She has to re-unlock Aether, and that's what's happening right now. That's my guess. Still nothing, no matter how many times Gretchen cried out those words. The wound finally closed on Morgan's stomach, the hot pain replaced by a cold, dull ache. He barely noticed. His attention was focused on one thing, the other essential difference he just noticed. Ragnarok Forge! Ragnarok Forge! Ragnarok Forge! Gretchen continued to shout, her green eyes wide with panic. Slowly, Morgan raised a trembling finger. He wasn't pointing at her, though. He was pointing at what was around her. He was pointing at the olive aether crackling around her body like an aurora. Her gaze followed his, and the panic in her eyes settled into an existential horror. The aether, olive, not orange. This wasn't her aether. No, scratch that. This wasn't Gretchen Hale's aether. And this wasn't Gretchen Hale anymore. You did something, Gretchen Hale murmured. That actually would be a sick Aether ability. Could you do that? Like one that changes someone's identity so their Aether stops working?
It'd be fucked up. I guess you could put something together.
Gretchen Hale murmured, the words sounding doubtful even as she spoke them. It's a trick! I don't have any tricks like that, Morgan whispered. You know I don't. They say a person is the sum of their memories. If that was the case, Morgan wondered, then what happened when the memories of two people were mixed up inside one head? It was just like paint. When red and blue swirled together, you couldn't call the result red or blue anymore. This was a new person standing in front of him, a mixture of Gretchen Hale and the memories Ionir Yggdrasil had hidden inside her head, a brand new human being. It was strange. It was still Gretchen's face. It was still Gretchen's voice. But when Morgan Noct looked at her right now, he couldn't muster up much hatred. The newborn reached into a pocket, face stricken with terror, clearly searching for something, an Aether armament she'd hidden on her person, not stored inside her now inaccessible Ragnarok forge. Morgan raised a hand to stop her. Wait, he said. She did not wait. Flight had conquered fight. With desperate fumbling speed, she pulled a small silver key out of her pocket, but in the moment before she squeezed it, I assumed tight, she did at least look up at Morgan. Green stared into gold. Homeward bound! She shouted. And in a flash of light, she was gone. And in a wave of despair, he was alone. And in a battle's wake, the world was silent. What did the Homeward Bound do again? They used it before.
This is new. She's not used it before.
Isn't that what they used when they were dealing with the platform back in like 13 or 12?
I don't believe so.
I remember... whatever. They had like some kind of teleport like that they used.
Yeah, it was a different thing. Yeah, it was like a Pokeball she used that time.
She stepped into the rules card pillar. That's what he does. All right. That was a good one. Can you handle the questions? Because I'm so small, it's hard to navigate my monitor.
Absolutely. You're so small and fragile. Let me open it. Let me get the thing for it. There you go. Different questions, right? Okay, where were we? How did Neil Mann use Shamid Shura without awakening his Aether at first? Oh yeah, we already did that one, sorry. What did Victory and the other weapons look like in human form? They were people, they were warriors, they were like strong, pretty buff. They were usually wearing like very chunky armour, to be honest, from the period, like gold coloured armour. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to just like say this off the cuff, to be honest. But I would say Victory had a very wild appearance. Like, you know, he has the spiky hair, he has the sharp teeth.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah. Pink pupils as well.
Oh, okay. Alright, keep going. I gotta discard some more questions.
Can Neverwire ever be recorded or Aether altered? You could probably rig something up that makes it inactive until you take it out of your Aether. But if you...
It only work when electricity's running through it?
Yeah. So you can't activate it inside your Aether, or because and you can't record it if it's active, because obviously it'll interfere with the it'll interfere with your Aether. So also, I'll rephrase. What is Bella Grace up to? Is she a special officer like the rest of her family? Does she get along especially well with Amelia given their shared circumstance? She's 8, so she is not yet a special officer.
Well,
I'm
you never
afraid.
know. I feel like that's the type of shit you'd introduce. I mean, we've seen like fucking 12-year-old special officers or GID agents. How old was what's her face from Arc 9?
Okay, but GID is like not a public-facing thing, so you can get away with a wider age range in the space CIA.
Didn't what's his name? The bro big bro small boy. He was at the war when he was like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
But she comes from a loving family, so that doesn't happen.
That makes sense. What a crazy concept. Mom, let me go to war. My classmates are gone. No.
Usually, so the mention of Amelia, so they come from. So Marcus does not get along well with his sister, who is Amelia's mother, so Bella would not meet with that side of the family too often.
That's a shame. Probably for the best.
If DoorDashing supremacy is supremis eats, that's asking a lot. What's it called in the UAP? And of course, you already gave the answer, but you already proved the answer, which Shooting Star Satiety Solutions. That's not
Yeah.
canon. That's a joke.
What's the canon one?
I don't know. Well, there'll be
that's
lots of
a
different
canon.
ones. There's not like one big one for the entire UAP. This is space we're talking about.
Yeah, it's probably planetary, I'd imagine.
Exactly. We say planetary. It's probably like settlement based as well on some planets.
Yeah.
And this is the last one we'll do here. So, is recording yourself and manifesting your body elsewhere the only possible way to teleport using Aether? Yes, I would say. Well, unless you can actually like develop teleportation using Aether in like a spatial manipulation sense, that could do it, which is what Wu Ming does for his thing. But outside of that, that's the only realistic way you're going to do it. You bet you're faking teleportation basically at that point. But yeah.
Doesn't Morgan also do inside?
Yeah, but that records him and transmits the Aether somewhere else, and then manifests him from the Aether. So the mechanic is still the same.
What about
There's a mechanic of how it works, and there's a mechanic of how the ability works.
What if instead of turning your body to Aether, you used Aether to turn your body to light, but it was on a timer where it reverted back to your body after a period of time?
That could work, I guess.
But then you'd only travel at light speed, which in space is actually not that great. Like, it'd be great in a battle for teleporting, but like you couldn't really travel the universe. It'd probably be slower than a starship.
You like teleport around. I control all elementary particles. By doing this, I move at the speed of light. And I think that's the last question for today.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Thank you all for watching. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.